Alrighty, how's it going? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Kevin Kenny. And you know that feeling when you have great news to share, but maybe you got to keep it a secret. And then the day finally comes, you get to share with the world how great that feeling is, to tell people about this great thing. That's exactly how I feel today here at Build, because our guest today is a young man who is resilient, inspiring, and really above all else, a tremendous musician I can't wait for you to both meet and learn more about. Give it up for our guest today, Mr. Harry Hudson.
Hey everybody, this is crazy. This is awesome.
Fun. Little cry for love over the speakers.
Wow, that was
Nice
so
touch.
cool. You know what I'm saying? Just like free promo.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
You got to get used to that, though. Going on talk shows, going on interviews, and hearing your own music. That must be kind of cool.
Yeah, so strange. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
a little
saying? I
wild,
feel
right?
like, it's so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But it's awesome.
Now, I've noticed, of course, that you can't miss it, the instruments behind us. You're going to be performing here today as well.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be performing for the first time
Wow.
for you guys.
Wow.
Ever. So you guys can be like, you fucking suck or you're awesome. Am I allowed to cuss?
I think so. You already
Cool, that's
did, so
awesome,
now that
right?
you did,
Yeah,
let's just
perfect.
Let's just all cuss.
Yeah, right?
I got to start with my favorite thing about you, and I know you weren't there for a terrible amount of time, but I'm from New Jersey, and we like to take credit for everything in New Jersey. You are a New Jersey native, my
Yes,
friend.
born.
Edgewater,
Only.
New Jersey, right down the road from where I grew up.
Yes.
But you were only there for a little bit, and then you moved out to California with your mom and your brother.
And my pops.
And your pops.
We all came out there, yeah.
And you moved out to, I guess, the Valley. And while you didn't really love the Valley, from what I understand, at least socially, right, you didn't really resonate or connect with your classmates or your peers, you really loved the nature aspect of it out there.
Yes.
So, and that obviously, I mean, if you look at the aesthetic of your recent releases and the promo spots you've done, nature plays a big role. And I know you write in nature.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that early love and that connection you made out there?
I think, LA, I have like my core group of friends, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, we all have our friends that we hang out with and all that stuff. But I was always the outcast and always labeled the misfit of anything I did. I always just felt I didn't belong. And the only place I did belong was like by the ocean or in the woods or in the forest or somewhere I can look over a city and feel that we're so small, you know what I'm saying? And we don't mean crazy. We always think too much and we have egos and all this stuff. But when I'm there, I feel like I'm one with a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? One with myself, and I try to understand myself. I mean, that's where I would go to just try to think, and try to understand who I am, and to a point of now understanding who I am,
And you always felt that way from a young age.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, how far back does writing lyrics and thinking about music? I know I've read about the rap freestyles in the bathroom back in the day, off of GarageBand. But really, like when you go into nature, was that always just a source of inspiration for music at an early age?
No, honestly, I hated nature at an early age.
That's you did? Okay, so this is something you've grown to love.
Yeah, I never liked it. I was like, bugs, that's disgusting. Like all this stuff is just like, I don't like it. So I was always a city kid, and then I started realizing what actually was freeing, what actually mattered, and what actually was real. What's God's gift is something that's free, something that is for everybody. And I never understood that, until like I was kind of going through this like depression and just started walking and taking hikes and going in the woods and being by the ocean and going in the ocean and just being freeing of myself and understanding like this is what I love. I don't think I got to that point until I got sick.
Well, I want to talk about that because I use two words, inspiring and resilient, two things that are absolutely true for you. For those that are watching at home right now, and if you're here and you don't know, you are a cancer survivor.
Yes.
Which deserves a round of applause right there. And how old were you when you first got diagnosed?
20.
You were 20, but I understand that you actually had dreams of getting cancer. You call them dreams, nightmares. I don't know what you do. Yeah. But when you were a child.
Yes.
So what were these dreams?
Well, honestly, I was about 9 and 10, and I just had nightmares that I was getting cancer and I was dying. And so my mom was like, what the fuck is wrong with my kid, And so she would send me to priests and rabbis and people to explain to me, like, where do we go after death? Because I was like, I know I'm going to die. Where do I go? And my mom was like a 9, 10-year-old kid saying that. That's kind of weird, And from there, I just knew I was going to get cancer.
Really?
I lost my grandmother from cancer, but I never met her, and I've always felt so close to her for some reason. And they named me after, like, her name was Hope, and her favorite name was Harrison. Came to Harry. That's who I. But it was just there was something there, and so I kept having those visions. And then me getting it, I wasn't surprised. I was like, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know when.
Yeah.
And so when I found out, my mom was like hysterical, and I was just in shock because like I knew this was gonna happen. But it sucked because I was like, I have so much to do, and like this is when it happens, you know? Because you feel like, why me? And you're like, you're 20 years old, you prepare yourself for death, and that's what I did.
Right.
You know, and so after the fact, that's when the nature and all this like accepting of life, because I'm like, I got close to God and I got close to myself. During that time.
I mean, I can't imagine the experience at that age too. I mean, you must be able to just do anything now.
It was wild. I got my first record deal the same day.
As you got diagnosed? Yeah. Oh my God.
And so we couldn't do the whole thing, and it just didn't work out. So I just took it as a sign, you know, that I just wasn't ready for what I was about to go into. Yeah. And I kind of really had to figure that out and figure out what kind of music I wanted to make, and who I actually was as a person before I did that. So here I am, you know.
Well, I know you've been public about one of the things that happened when you got better and you beat the disease, is that you really realized what was important in life, and really what we all should be pursuing, and that's happiness.
Yeah.
What does happiness look like for you?
I wake up, I do the first thing I think of, you know, and like happiness is just what you feel in your soul that would actually fulfill you. You know, if I wake up and I want to go feed homeless people, that's the first thing I do. I don't think about anything else. You know, if I want to wake up and go to the beach or go get tea, you know, and just the littlest things make me so happy. Being with my friends and family who are genuine, we can actually have not surface conversations, you know, and happiness is just doing what you love, you know, and through your passion, you find purpose, you know, and I'm so passionate about music, so it's leading to me to what I actually, you know, feel like God put me here to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I feel like a lot of people need to understand that, is that we all have such major purposes in this world, and we're all so important, and just to realize that in yourself, you can do wonders, you know?
Yeah. You mentioned friends, and you mentioned not having just basic substance level conversations.
Yeah.
I got to talk about a friend of yours that, I mean, everybody knows given what he does for a living, Jaden Smith.
Yes.
And a conversation that lasted 7 hours, I understand, that you and Jaden had.
Yes.
Tell me, essentially, you're part of Misfits.
Yeah.
A founder, I guess you could say, of Misfits. Would you say that?
I'm part of it. No, I mean, more of Jaden started it, and we kind of created more of an idea of what it was together.
And that idea was really born out of this 7 hour long conversation?
Yeah, me and Jaden actually did not really like each other.
Okay.
Because we knew each other growing up, and he was 14. I think he was 14 at the time when I got sick. And he was like, you have to live with me because I'm going to cure you from cancer. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And he was genuinely upset about that. He genuinely got his feelings hurt that I wouldn't allow him to cure me. This is a true story. And so me and him just had this weird beef. It was weird.
Because you wouldn't let him cure you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there was things where like, he's a really weird kid and I'm a weird kid, you know what I'm saying? We're both very similar. So when we talked, it was only surface conversations, and it was the weirdest conversations. So where I was like, I don't really like you, he doesn't really like me, and that was it.
Well, you both probably weren't being yourselves.
We weren't ourselves. We weren't real with each other.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I don't understand you, and I was like, I don't understand you. Like, you're fucking weird. He's like, you're fucking weird. So it just didn't work out. And then we ran into each other one day, and this was about 3 years ago, and we were just like, why do we not fuck with each other? And then I came over to his house, and we sat down for that time, and we really just talked about his whole life and my whole life and what we actually want to do in life and what actually matters. And we were very much in the same place at that time. Ever since then, I lived with him, and I've seen him every day since that day, or talked to him every day since that day.
Like brothers?
Yeah, that's literally my brother.
100%.
Yeah.
Now talk about Misfits. This is a collective. I know now it is a label. We can call it a label.
Now it's officially a label, yes.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you, yes.
That's amazing. What is Misfits? What does it stand for? What is it all about?
Misfits is just MSFTS, which is pretty much there's no I.
Right. Am I saying that wrong? I've always said Misfits.
No, it's Misfits for sure.
Cool.
It's pretty much a collective of kids who want to do good in this world, who want to move people consciously through science, through art, being creative, and it's people who are all in one family who want to do the same thing. We might all do different things, but the end goal is the same, and that's like to bring one world, equality, happiness, love to this world, you know?
Yeah.
Building schools, building hospitals, making music, creating art, making movies, whatever it is, it's just there's no stopping what we want to do.
Yeah.
You know, making clothing. All this stuff is just, there's no stopping what you can do in life, you know? And if I think it, I just do it.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself, though. If you told me I was going to be up here talking about music, I'd say you're fucking lying. You know what I'm saying? When I was 16 rapping about nothing.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought it was a joke. I was like, I can't do this for real. Like, I don't have that. You know, and then you start being like, wait, I can do this for real.
Well, I got to ask,
you
I
know?
got to jump in, not to cut you off. When was the moment for you?
When I moved to, so It's really funny. So when I was rapping, I was like 16, 17. Was working with another record label. Right when I was like 16, they wanted to start this weird like Beastie Boy group.
Right.
And they just put me in this. I didn't care. I was like, fuck school. Like, get me out of here. Like, I just want to make money and be famous, you know? 16-year-old. You're like, that's what you want to do. You want to get out of high school. You want to go do something.
Yeah.
And so we had the opportunity, and it was crazy because the first person to ever believe me at that point who was managing me was the vice president of Death Row Records at that time. And it was this guy, John Atterbury. And he was the first person to be like, you can do this. And then he told me, he's like, rapping may not be your thing, but you have a cool tone to your voice, and you should start singing. I was, fuck no, like what? Like, and all my friends were like, oh, that's whack. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I was so insecure, and I'm just like, oh no, like they're saying it's whack, like it's for sure whack. You know, my friend, like I just didn't know who I was at that point.
Right.
You know, so when you like, they're like, that's whack. You're like, oh yeah, that is. Like, but inside I wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never did. But he was like, I'm gonna set you up with vocal lessons. Like, trust me, I want you to start singing. And I was like, nah, like I don't think I can do it. And he was like, please trust me on this. And we had a hard heart. A week later, he passed away. And like the whole thing just didn't go through. Me and my friends stopped being friends, and I started singing. And because it was pretty much for him at that point, because I was like, he was the first person to ever believe in me to make music, and he told me to start singing. So I was just, at that point, I was in a really dark place, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it for him. So I feel like he's with me every time I sing, and to guide me through that, because I didn't start singing truthfully till like 4 years ago, like actually. So it's this spiritual presence every time I write or record music, because there's a lot of presence I feel of people who are in my life that unfortunately passed away, and which allowed me to like get to a place of figuring out that. Then after that point he passed away, I moved to Sweden because I got an opportunity to be an intern for a record label in Sweden.
Well, this is crazy. Don't just gloss over this. You lived in an attic in Sweden.
Yes.
Was the attic in the church where they did the exorcisms?
Yeah.
Tell that story.
Well, I went to Sweden with some producers that I really like. I enjoy. I met them in LA, and he was like, you know what? I got this opportunity. You should come with me to Sweden and work as an intern and help with melody. And I was like, I don't want to go to school. Like, I didn't want to go to college. I just finished high school, and I was like, I'm there. Going to Sweden. 2 weeks later, I'm in Sweden. And you think Sweden, you're like, like hot girls and like, oh, it's the best, you know? And I get there, and it's below zero. I'm by myself. I'm from LA. I'm like so used to like in and out and like fast food and all this stuff. So like I get there and I'm so in shock. Every sign I can't read. No one's there to help me. I'm like, oh, I'm so fucked. This is scary. I go to like a breakfast place because I didn't know where to go at the airport, and like the breakfast was like 2,900 like krones or something like that. And I was like, I don't not have $3,000 to pay for breakfast. Like that's what I thought. I did not know anything. So I get picked up from the airport. I go 5 hours and like pretty much to like the woods. I take a train, I go into the woods, like so far away from the city, and they just drop us off there and like, all right, we'll see you. So what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you'll see us? And like, they don't leave us with a car, and we're working with another artist out there, so it's like 5 of us, and they left us at this priest home in the middle of the woods, surrounded by a moat. This is real life, with a broken down castle, like loose cannons everywhere. And so it's the most beautiful, like visually stunning place ever. It's snow, you know, it looks like Twilight, the movie. And literally, I was so confused, and I was like, this is not what I was expecting. You know, and I'm trapped. And so, like, our backyard was a cemetery. We're in the middle of a cemetery, by the way.
It's not getting better.
No, it was awesome. And then just stayed in this attic and, like, was working and grinding. There was no sunlight. By the way, there was 1 hour of sunlight. This was, like, you know, movies. Like, that shit's real. Yeah, it was dead winter. I was like, this is a real thing. It was 1 hour of sunlight. I'm freaking out. And at that point, I'm like, yo, I'm depressed as fuck. Like, I don't even know if I even want to make music like this. And it really pushed me. And I remember I was talking to my brother, who's my manager, and I called him one day. I was hysterically crying. And I was like, I don't want to do this, you know, because I remember they would try to make my demo. They were making my demo, so my hours of recording was from 3 in the morning to 7 in the morning. Oh, man. And then I was working that whole day, so I'd be up for 3-4 days straight. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, actually mentally going crazy. Yeah. And I was like, if this is what it takes to be an artist, there's no way I want to do this. There's no way I want to make music. You know, so I called my brother. I'm like, I'm out. Crying. I was like, this is the worst, because I would try to sing at 3 in the morning, and they're like, you suck. Like, you get the fuck out. And I'd be like, what? And they're like, you're literally, this is the thing. And like, they made me wait in the snow. And like, I'd be outside in the cold, and they're like, you suck. Like, think about how bad you suck. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? And so I was just really trying to have that make sense, you know? And I was like, they're mean to me. Like, I don't want to make music anymore. My brother's like, you know, if you quit, you're gonna go back to school and you can never do this again.
Yeah. You really don't like school, it sounds
I don't
like.
I don't
That'll
like
scare
the
you, it
education
sounds
system
like.
here. No.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I don't want to go back. He's like, because you're gonna have to figure out a normal job. He's like, you're gonna quit, so quit. And I was like, he's like, just make it out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish it. So the rest of the time was like brilliant because I put my mind to actually working hard and writing and learning and understanding melody and understanding how to write a song. And then I started being obsessed with Sweden. I started loving it, you know, and then came back home with a whole new vision and a whole new purpose of just what I wanted to do, you know.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you can look back now and connect the dots. And
I can look back and say it was the
journey-
best time of my life.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
and the journey to, you know, Cry for Love and your new one, Yellow Lights, really started there in Sweden, probably when you had that conversation with your brother.
Yeah.
And now you're here. We don't have too much time before we get to the studio questions, but I do want to just talk about this song right now really quickly because, I mean, it's been co-signed by Zane Lowe over at Beats One
So
Radio.
tight. Yeah,
this is an incredible song. I mean, really an amazing piece of work.
Thank you.
Can you briefly kind of just give us some backstory on how Yellow Lights came to be?
It's produced by Teo, who's a part of Misfits as well.
And Nash worked on the record.
And Nash
Okay.
helped produce it too. And Nash is like one of my best friends. We've been making music for a while.
Yeah.
And me and Teo were in a studio one day, and Teo's just ridiculous with the keys. He literally doesn't like know how to play a song, but he can like make one up. That's the most beautiful song I ever hear on spot. He's just savant. And he was playing something, and I started writing a melody, and I was singing along to it, and I had a voice note. And like a couple months later, I looked back at the voice note. I was like, holy shit, like this is really dope, you know. And this meant something because I was saying words that were so truthful to me at that time. That's what we're talking about. Like I had a journal when I was writing music in, and I looked back into it, and I picked the story out, what I was talking about in that voice memo. And I was in a relationship at the time, and it was very much of, I loved her. I didn't know if she loved me back, you know, and like I don't know if I fully wanted to jump into the relationship more or end it right there. And it was like, if I let her go, what if she's with another guy and she's happy with another guy? I would be jealous. That's my ego, you know, and speaking. So it was this whole thing of I'm stuck in this yellow light, and I'm stuck in the middle of, do I want her, do I not? You know, does she love me, does she not?
Right.
You know, and it's kind of this, do I stop, do I go? It was this.
Does she sing about you like you sing about her?
Exactly, yeah. But no, it's just, and that came about in such an authentic way, you know, and it's like one of my most vulnerable songs.
Absolutely.
Because I remember just writing it, and I was in my back porch, and it was just this whole, and I wrote it with one of my best friends. And we grew up together, and I had like a lot of it done, and I was telling him, he writes poetry, so we were just kind of like flowing off each other, and it was just like, we wrote it, and then we just looked at each other, and like, we were both crying when we wrote this, by the way. And we looked at each other, and we're like, this is something special, you know, because it was something where I literally just let my heart out.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to even put it out to the world, because like, here I am, you know, and it's like it's truly me. You know, it's not like I'm going to mask who I am. It's just like I want to give you my most authentic self because everybody needs to get inspired. You know, and everybody needs to find something to hold on to and just do what they love to do.
Right.
You know,
I mean, imagine that 16-year-old kid who thought that singing was for girls listening to Yellow Lights.
Oh, he'd be like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I wish he would hear this. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. But it's just a beautiful thing to be like, I'm confident in who I am. I know who I am in life. I know what I want to get out of life. I know how I want to go out of this life. You know, and for me, I had to go find that. I was never like that until they're like, hey, you might have a couple months to live. You got to think.
Yeah.
What actually matters in life.
Wake you up quick, I bet.
Very quick, because you don't know what matters in life. Everything starts hitting you like, I haven't had sex yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to die? You know, that's real life.
Yeah.
People are so afraid to talk about death.
Yeah.
It's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
It was. Until you embrace it, until you realize, let go of fear, all there is love.
Yeah.
You know? And that's where,
well said.
you know, with Yellow Lights coming about, it's just me. I'm very confident in myself in a way where I can put something out like this and talk about it because people can relate, you know?
Totally. Speaking of people, we got some fans here in the audience that have some questions for you. We're going to start back here.
First, Harry, I want to thank you for being here. You're very inspiring as a young artist myself. My question for you is, being a misfit myself, what advice can you give to young artists that can possibly have these obstacles that maybe overthink or can feel stuck or be in the yellow light to not burn yourself out and to maintain yourself in the industry and to maintain that, reminding yourself you're enough? Like, what advice can you give?
What kind of art do you make?
Theater.
Amazing. Okay, well, I would say just you got to be fully yourself when you create the art. You got to stay inspired, read books, do things that are not a part of the art. go do something you wouldn't expect yourself to do, you know, and then you'll start getting more inspired for the art, and the art becomes real for you, and to the point where you know you're so confident in this, and this is your baby, and you'll know people will love it because you love it. You know, I can stand up here and be like, oh, I love Yellow Lights. I'm so confident in it, you know, because I don't care what people think about it, because it's fully me, and I'm so happy about it, you know. And it's like with your art, it's like everybody's a creative, you know, everybody's an artist. So it's like you can succeed if you truly believe in yourself and you really work hard to it. Manifestation is so real, you know, and just meditation. If you can, whether it's 2 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, tell yourself you love yourself, you know, constantly. And just look in the mirror and be proud of yourself, you know, and then everything starts changing. Because I never was proud of myself. I was the most insecure kid growing up my whole life until they gave me a time limit on it. And then now I can look in the mirror and be like, I didn't choose to look like this, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't choose this body or anything I have, but I love you, you know? And once you can express that, you can express love to everybody else through your art. And so when people hear your art or feel your art or see your art, they're going to be like, that's made with love. That's made with truth, you know? And once you get to that point, it's like, you know, it's speechless, you know, because it's such a flow. For me, it's like I can just flow and make music constantly now because I let myself open and I let myself be and I go get inspired. I read books every day. I take walks every day. I do the weirdest things. You know what I'm saying? Like I go to breakfast by myself. My new thing right now is meeting 5 new people a day.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So I'm doing this thing with this. I started this self-transformation thing January 1st with this monk that I work with. And he's a monk in LA, and he calls me every day, and that's my news. Every week is a new task. Okay. So this week is meeting 5 new people, understanding their background, understanding who they are and what they want to be, vice versa, you know? And that has been crazy for me. So it's just go express yourself with love. A part of that 5 people, I have to look them in the eyes and tell them I love them without saying I love them, so it's been hella weird. So I'll look at somebody and just be like, and they're like, yo, I don't know, he's not saying anything, you know? It's so weird, but you'll get the energy. You'll be like, oh, he's not weird, like, I can trust him. You know, I can, like, so with that, it's just, dude, fucking do what you want to do. Don't listen to anybody else. Literally, do not listen to anybody until they're like, I can give you good advice, or this is good and keep going, you know? And you can be with, like, I expect you to fucking kill theater and kill whatever you're going to do, and I want to see everything, you know? And I expect you to be at a point of that life, because if you just work every day, it might not happen tomorrow. I've been doing this since I was 16. Now it's just happening. My first interview, it's my first performance of all time. You know, so if you push yourself, it can actually happen. So yeah.
You know, if music doesn't work out, you might be the next Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins is my idol.
Okay.
My idol. I went to see Tony Robbins, and I literally freaked out.
That's awesome. Was that one of the 5, by the way? Did we just, like, witness?
Yeah, 1,000%. What's your name?
You felt the love?
Chris.
Chris?
Amazing.
Right on.
Chris, you're the guy.
Documented here on
Yeah.
Build.
Chris,
Where's
my
our next
brother
question going to
now.
come from? Right on.
Amazing.
Hi, I was wondering whenever you tour, do you think you're gonna do smaller, more intimate venues or bigger venues?
I would say both. I want to do a thing where I want to do a tour where it's like whatever venue it is, honestly. Whether I would like more intimate because I can have this and I can talk to people and we can all inspire one another. Wherever it leads me, but I really want to. This is my first show, so this is small. I love this. I love this setting so far. So I guess throughout my career, I guess we'll see. But I would love the beginning will probably be very intimate of what I'm gonna do. What's your name? Nicole. I love you.
2 out of 5. Have you and Jaden ever performed together? Because that's something I'd love to see.
You know what? No, we haven't. We have. We actually have.
Right.
In Miami once, and it was in a living room for a magazine. It was like for Complex, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was the weirdest experience, but we did that, and that was really fun. But like, we're planning a Misfit tour this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You better get your moonwalk looking nice.
I can't do the moonwalk. I always try it. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
insane.
he's literally one of the best dancers I know. And it's just a joke at this point because like he's been moonwalking for the longest time, and so now it's like, oh, he can moonwalk. It's
Oh, like
dude,
MJ level.
Wake up in the morning and this fool just moonwalk.
Just how
I go to the house the other day and it was 8:30 in the morning. I was like knocking on the door because I hear blasting music. I'm like, what is
Tell
good?
me he moonwalked to the door.
Even better, Jaden built himself a stage in his room by himself. So he built this whole stage for himself. And I walk in, he's in his boxers, just wake out of bed, moonwalking, dancing on the stage by himself, no one in this room, no one in the house. And then I walk in, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This is genius. And I was like, if the world knew who you actually, like, what you actually do on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
Like, he was literally moonwalking on this little stage in his boxers, no clothes on, just like dancing, going hard and performing, because he's like, that guy's out of here. He's wild.
Unapologetically
He's
himself.
genius. Oh, yeah, and we
Times
all
1,000.
Times 1,000. I was like, dude, like, he's so passionate.
Yeah.
You know, and he's so passionate. And that's what we all do. That's why we all love each other.
Yeah.
Because he can build a stage. He builds beds for people who need it. Like, he's just that person. You know,
amazing.
and he made me build so many beds at one point in my life. I'm like, why do you make me do this? He's like, we need beds. We need people have, like, we would go to this homeless shelter and people like, who needs beds? And he would go build them. Like, that's Jaden.
That's
And
insane.
he's like, I need to learn how to do that. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's get to one final studio question. Where's it going to come from? Right here.
Hi.
Wow.
Um,
How are you?
so we're both Geminis, and I definitely relate to everything you just said in the show. And I have so many questions, but I'm just going to ask one. This is kind of like the beginning of your career on a bigger scale, and I hope this clip gets used like 20 years from now on, and I want you to declare to all of us, what do you want your music to mean, and how do you want it to be remembered? Like, what do you want us to
Wow.
all take away from you?
Yeah. What's your name?
Natia.
Wow, I love you so much. Okay.
3.
Yeah. Now I just gotta really think. Honestly, I want it to make people. I want everybody to realize that they're important in this world. I want my music to make people realize that they are loved. They are loved by themselves individually or not. I want people to really create art. I feel like right now we're in a kind of a dark place in this world, especially in this country. I feel like we all need to create art. And we all need to do something great and help each other. Giving is the most important thing I can really say. But with my music, it's like, that's why I make it. Like I say, through passion, you find purpose. And, you know, and for me, I want to build hospitals. And I want to build schools. And please do it. Please do it. I would love that. We just started a school, actually, the Misfits. And we're building one in the inner city of LA I think by the end of this year, next year. So that's like our biggest thing, was like through art, because we love it so much. Like, what would you rather do every day? I woke up this morning literally smiling because I was like, I get to just do promo for my art all day. You know what I'm saying? And like, it might be exhausting, but this is what I love to do. And I don't want to work a 9 to 5, you know? And it's just like, this is what most people don't want to. So you got to like do the basic steps to get there, because I definitely did work like that, but go forward and I want people to love. That's it. I just want people to live a happy life. I don't expect you to love my music, but I expect you to love yourself through it. I love you so much. You have amazing eyes. Oh my gosh.
I feel like I should leave.
Yeah.
This is a very loving edition of Build. I don't think I've ever had such a loving vibe in here.
Yeah, I'm just in love. Gosh. I look back like there's a band's there. They're not there. Oh, shit.
Well, I just want to thank you in closing here. You're going to perform, but this is the end of our chat here. Again, Yellow Lights. I can't wait to see what this record does this year. I think this is a special record.
Thank you.
I really do. I mean that. I think this is going to make some noise this year, really moving. If you're watching at home, you have not heard the record, go out of your way to check it out. It's on all major streaming services and YouTube right now.
Is that a camera that we can look at?
That's a camera we can look at. Why don't we wave to everybody at home? Let's
That's so dope. Where's the camera, though?
You do know we're filming this, right?
I thought we were filming on that and that one. Oh, there's a fucking
There are
4
a couple
cameras.
of them.
That's
If you want to just
awesome.
wave to everybody. But how many songs are you going to perform today?
3.
3. Wow. All right. I'm going to get
Yeah.
the heck out of your way. Just put
Yeah.
it there. The
I
music
appreciate
sounds
you very
incredible.
much.
So
I had
nice to
tea here this whole time. I was so thirsty.
There you go. You and Mariah Carey right there with the tea.
Wait, what do you mean, Mariah Carey?
You don't know? That's for afterwards. I'll tell you that.
I love Mariah Carey.
Thank you for stopping by here.
Amazing. Thank you for having me.
Let's cheers. Let's close the cheers. Nice.
How? Hold on.
Nice.